Hey everyone, I hope everybody's having a great day. I am here with the one and only Simon Tsalikis. Simon, welcome on the show.
Hey man, thanhanks for having me.
Yeah, a radio voice. You have a radio voice.
Do I?
You sound
I have
familiar.
a radio face. That's what some people would say. But,
you sound very familiar.
Yes.
TSN, is that it?
TSN 690, yes. The all sports radio station in Montreal. I've been doing that for a while. It's great, man. Just get to talk radio, get to vent every day. People yell at you, you yell at them. It's fantastic. It's a great.
So that's your part-time gig, but real estate is your full-time gig.
Yeah, I've been doing the radio for about 15 years on a part-time basis, and it's something that I've always enjoyed doing. I used to do it back at Vanier. In college when I played for the football team, and they asked them that we'd have to provide a DJ for an area called Jake's. That's where we used to hang out. And the football team said, well, you seem to talk a lot. Why don't you go there and do like a little sports show for an hour? So it's something that was always interesting.
How long ago was this?
I'm going to date myself here. That was 91, 92.
91,
Those are good years.
The good old days.
Yeah, those are good years, yeah. No mortgages, no nothing. So I did that for a little bit of radio. And then I was a bar owner for a few years, and they had an open mic competition on TSN 690.
The bar mugs.
It was mugs, and then it was a Lounge 6, excuse me. That was the second one. And we did that. And then they had an open mic competition on TSN 690, kind of like an American Idol. There's about, 100 people showed up, and we went on the air. We did a couple of things. We'd cut clips and whatever else. And, we do our skits on the radio, and I won the competition. So from there, it was a 3-month gig in the middle of the night. I don't know how many people were listening, but it was great. And then after that, I wasn't costing them any money, so they asked me to do another 3 months. And then somebody got sick and had to go in, and they asked me to go in on a Monday to replace somebody. And from there, it's always been part-time. And it's something I enjoy doing it. It's, we can say it's not about the money or this or that, but sports radio and sports in general is something that I love, a passion for.
Perfect. And I was told from my brother-in-law to ask you, where's my free coffee?
The free coffee, eh? Hey, man, the more free coffees I give, the better. So what I do for on a full-time basis, I'm a real estate broker. I've been doing that for a little over a decade. And it's the TSN 690 commercial that I use. It's very simple because, people are concerned about meeting a broker or anybody selling insurance. They always think it's going to be a quick one. So I just tell people, listen, we sit down, we meet, we talk, we discuss. You like what you hear, we continue the process. If not, hey, free coffee. So it's kind of stuck a little bit, and I give out free coffees when I meet people for a little bit of real estate talk, and it's great.
There you go.
I enjoy it. They enjoy it as well. And thank you to your brother-in-law. I appreciate it.
No problem. So before we talk a little bit about real estate, let's talk about the Habs. Right?
Yes.
I'm a Habs fan.
We all are.
There we go.
Except for, I guess, Bruins fans running around
or
the city.
Leafs.
Yeah, we're Leafs fans.
What do you think about the Habs this year? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
I think they're going to be in a dogfight. I just think that they're going to be a dogfight. I think it's a team that has a great work ethic. I think they're going to compete every night. I think the recipe is very simple. They need to get elite goaltending, which they should, but stretch here in November wasn't very good. Early in December, Carey Price is playing well. They need to be elite in nets. They need to be better than what they are on the power play, on the penalty kill, and I think they can survive. But at the end of the day, I just think they're missing realistically, one, maybe two high-end talented players that you can compete against: the Kucherovs, the Stamkoses, the Bergerons, the Marchands, the Matthews, and the Marners in your division. Mm-hmm. They don't have that. Even Florida's a team that kind of like the Canadians when it's all said and done, when you look at the points the last couple of years, but they got a guy like Barkov and Huberdeau, so they have that elite high-end talent. I just don't think the Canadians have that. They have a good team that works hard, but missing that high-end talent.
That connection or something, right? Communication.
Just somebody that, when the going gets tough, a guy that is very comfortable scoring 40 goals. So when you need a goal, that guy's going to go find you the goal. The Columbus had it for a few years with Panarin in Columbus, and now he's with the Rangers. Just that game breaker. The guy that the other team shows up to the rink and says, man, that guy's going to be all over the ice. We got to keep an eye on that. Canadians have good players. I just don't think they have a player that other coaches or the opposition keeps them up at night. Gallagher's a great player, a very good player. I don't think he's elite. Max Domi's a very good player. I just don't think he's elite. Good quality players, but not elite. That's what I think they're missing.
Yeah, but St. Louis last year, they were in January, February, they were last.
They were
won the cup, right?
I think on.
But do you think St. Louis last year we can compare with the Habs this year?
I think that's a great story. They were the only team in NHL history to be in last place in early January.
Yeah.
And went on to win the cup. They've been playing hockey for well over 100 years. It happened once. So that's not the team you want to mimic. They got hot. They got a guy like Ryan O'Reilly that had a very good defense. But I think that's a one-off. I don't think the recipe for success is to be in last place come December and January. But yeah, they were a very good team. And look, the Canadians do have their game breaker. I don't want to make it seem like they don't have that guy. If they can get into the playoffs, then I'll take a healthy, playing at a high level Carey Price over any goalie in the world. So that'll be the difference maker, and it's a city that understands that. We saw Halleck do that 10 years ago, and we saw Patrick Roy do it. And the Canadians won 2 Stanley Cups. Just played at a ridiculous level, and they won. So that's what you're hoping for, that if you do get in and you're in the playoffs, at the end of every 60 minutes, you point to Carey Price saying, that was the difference. He was the best player on the ice. So,
do you think Price is overpaid?
I think he might be a little bit overpaid, but I'm also a believer that I think you pay your high-end talent. I think you look at your best players, and let's say your best player is worth $10 million. I'd pay my best player $10 million. I'd pay my second best player $9 million, even if they're worth 9 and 8. And on the third and fourth lines, with your players that are making 3, you try to find the same player who's making 2. I think you pay your top talent and you fit in everything around them. That's where your pro scouting comes in. That's where your amateur scouting comes in. I think that's the way I would build a team. I pay my best players.
Beautiful. And you're only a Habs fan? Sorry, you're only a hockey fan? How about soccer, baseball, so and so?
I'm a sports junkie.
Okay, so you love everything.
I always say this, and I've never played a video game in my life, maybe for 20 minutes. I think in the 80s it was called Bubble. I really liked that game. Played it for about half an hour, and I couldn't do it anymore. I've never played NHL whatever or NBA whatever. I grew up in a very traditional neighborhood in Chamonix where everybody played outside and we played different sports and we put our hockey.
So you're Greek.
Hellenic.
Yes. You're part of the elite.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I concur. You're right about that. So I always played sports. So I have a love affair for any sport for that matter. Whether I'm a diehard Lakers fan. The Chicago Bears are my favorite football team. They've driven me through the ringer the last 30 years or so. I think I started watching football in like 1983, 1984, and I started watching the Bears, and they won a Super Bowl in 85. So I was like, wow, this is so easy. You pick a team, they win a championship. It's going to happen every couple of years. Hasn't happened since. So I'm a fan of soccer. I love the impact in the city. I love the MLS product. On Saturdays or Sundays, I'll get up, have a coffee, and watch whatever premier game is on, whether it's,
I've been to the Impact game 3 times, and all 3 times it was raining.
It happens, unfortunately, but you just got to wear the ponchos.
There you go.
You got to get into it. But I look, any type of sport, and it's a great time for sport too, for not just the city of Montreal, but for Canada. The men's basketball program is going to be elite. The women's program is great. The men's soccer team is on the rise. The women's soccer team is one of the best 10 in the world. And for the first time, you can see great Canadian golfers. You see great Canadian tennis players like Bianca Andreescu won the U.S. Open. So it's a good time to be a sports fan in this country, because wherever you turn, they're doing it at a high level. So it's really great.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Let's talk about real estate.
Yes.
Montreal right now is hot, right?
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's not a pitch or anything like that. I think if you sat any real estate broker in this chair or mortgage broker in this chair, they will tell you the same thing.
Okay. So what are your thoughts? What do you think? Where do you think Montreal is going?
I just think it's growing, and I think what's interesting to see is where's it going to go from here, because it's an island. It's not going to expand anymore. We can keep going vertical as much as we want, but I think what's happening now, I think you're seeing the real estate from a revenue property standpoint being pushed out to outside the city, almost like a mushroom effect, that it's just not the downtown core, it's just not the trendy plateau areas. There's areas that are a complete rebirth because I think they've been neglected for probably 20 to 25 years, and it's the easy ones like Griffintown and the Point, and now you're seeing areas like Verdun.
They used to call it Verdump.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. We wouldn't go. We go there to go to the arena to watch the junior Canadians play, and that was it. And you look at these areas, and it's the classic recipe is there. Whether it's Toronto, Chicago, New York, LA, there's a real estate recipe. If you're close to the water and you happen to be 10 minutes from downtown, that should be unaffordable. And I'm not saying Verdun's ever going to be unaffordable, anything like that, but that is a real estate recipe. If in New York or in Toronto and in LA, if you're near the water and you're 10 minutes from downtown, it's expensive. Yeah. It's the reality.
So in a way, it's good for rentals, no?
I think it's great for rentals.
As investment purposes.
As investment purposes, I think it's great. I think, it's unfortunate for some people might be squeezed out of the market because the rents are growing at such a rate, and it's unfortunate, but that is the reality. If people want to pay a premium for being 10, 12 minutes from the city, and that's what it is. The rental for 2020 is going to be at an all-time low. I believe I read an article in the Gazette that it was 1.3 vacancy rate. That's ridiculous, So I
think for investors.
It's great for investors. I think it's great for sellers too. If there's sellers out there that want to cash out, maybe retire, move on to something else, and take their money, diversify. I think it's a great time for them as well. I just don't think that. I think that too many people sit around and they're waiting for the home run and the super deal, and I'm just going to invest I think those days are gone. I think if you can get a good deal where the buyer jump on it. I think that's where we're at right now. If you get a good deal, if you're a buyer or a seller, you take it. The days of finding this gem might happen. Your aunt's got a friend of a friend, and she doesn't know a real estate broker. You come up and you show up and you buy it. Yeah, great. I don't know how often that happens, but when you look at the revenue properties in the city, it's only getting more expensive, and it's spreading out to Laval now and into the South Shore and what I like to call the 50 North area, like Saint Jerome, Saint Therese, Blainville areas. Those are great areas, family oriented.
How about the REM? It's going to be beautiful, man.
Look,
it's going to be great for Montreal.
Absolutely, and for anybody, any district or any area that runs across, right? If you can, you have a property and now it takes you 40 minutes to get downtown with bus and metro, and we fast forward in 5 years from now, that tenant can get to downtown in 15, 20 minutes. Like that's exactly where you want to be as holding on to a revenue property in and around the REM for sure. It's only going to help.
Mm-hmm. And where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
That's a great question. I think my wife would be able to answer that question better. I think we have 2 little girls at home.
Maybe number 3 coming up?
That's not, no, we're good. We're good with 2. 2 is a great number. I think once the girls get a little older and we can see them heading out to high schools and maybe CEGEPs in the city. I've always been a Laval guy. I was born in Chamonix. I live in St. Dorothy now. There's a point my wife and I would want to relocate, maybe not to the downtown core, but maybe find a nice little XXX somewhere in the plateau or something, rent it out, get the revenue properties, give 1 car back, have 1 car, get a parking pass and all those things, and walk to our coffee shops, walk to our restaurants. So I can see myself moving a little bit closer to the city.
Beautiful. So for anybody watching this video right now that wants to get involved in radio or real estate,
yes, do
you have any nuggets, any tips you could share with them?
Well, look, the one thing with I'll always say with the radio, the Anglo audience is a smaller audience than the Franco audience. So I tell you to work on your French, be able to speak in both languages. I'm not a very good writer. And I urge people to, especially, you're out there, whether you're in high school, you're in CEGEP, university, whatever, you're taking your communications classes, write anything. Write on a blog, write anywhere you can, write on your Facebook posts, develop your writing skills. I think that's something that's very important going forward. The ability to write will keep you employed.
How can somebody follow you on social media?
At Simon TSN 690 is the sports Twitter handle. That's the best way to get me. I have a Royal LePage one as well, at Simon RLP, and you can catch me on Instagram as well.
Perfect, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the time,
Keep on doing what you're doing. We're going to collaborate some way, somehow.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, buddy.